Hello guys. Welcome to the story world. We are to serve you best stories, but we need your help to complete our goal of 1,000 subscribers. So find the subscribe button and please click on it. Let's jumping into story. Ethan Miller grew up believing that true love was something you fought for. Raised in a small town in Ohio, with parents who divorced when he was just 9, he swore that if he ever found real love, he'd hold on to it no matter what. At 29, working as a mechanic in Columbus, he thought he'd finally found it in Lauren Price. Lauren was a 26-year-old freelance writer with a smile that could light up a room and a laugh that made everyone turn their head. She wasn't just beautiful, she was electric, unpredictable, exciting. From the moment Ethan met her at a local bar, he felt like he'd been struck by lightning. They became inseparable. Lauren had a way of making Ethan feel like the only man in the world, when she wanted to. But she was demanding, constantly needing reassurance. If he didn't answer her texts immediately, she'd send messages like, "Guess I'm not a priority." If he wanted a night with his buddies, she'd accuse him of not loving her enough. Ethan saw it as passion, a test of how much he cared. He never saw the manipulation. One night, Lauren came to his apartment, sobbing uncontrollably. She said a group of guys had been following her from the coffee shop she worked at part-time. "They're saying things, threatening me. I'm scared, Ethan. I don't know what to do," she cried, shaking in his arms. Ethan's protective instincts kicked in. "Who are they? Where can I find them?" he asked, his voice trembling with anger. She gave him names, a spot downtown where they supposedly hung out. Ethan promised her that nobody would hurt her again. What he didn't know was that Lauren wasn't terrified. She was curious to see just how far Ethan would go for her. And Ethan, blinded by devotion, walked straight into her trap. The next night, Ethan drove his beat-up Ford pickup to a sketchy alley behind a dive bar in downtown Columbus, where Lauren said the men would be. His heart pounded like a war drum. His fists were sweaty, his jaw locked tight. He wasn't a fighter, but for Lauren, he'd fight anyone. There they were, 5 men, drinking, laughing, leaning against their motorcycles. Ethan stormed toward them, shouting, "Which one of you's been harassing Lauren Price?" The men exchanged confused looks before one smirked. "Lauren? That crazy chick again? Man, she's—" He never finished his sentence. Ethan lunged at him, throwing the first punch. Chaos erupted, fists flew, bottles smashed, blood spilled on the pavement. Ethan fought like a wild animal, driven by rage and love. Minutes later, battered and bleeding, he stood over 5 groaning men sprawled on the ground. His hands shook, not from fear, but from adrenaline. He spat out blood and yelled, "Stay the hell away from her," before limping back to his truck. Lauren opened her door when he arrived, her eyes widening at his bruised face and bloody knuckles. "Ethan, did you really?" she gasped. "I'd do anything for you," he whispered, holding her like she was the only thing keeping him alive. For a moment, Ethan thought he saw pure love in her eyes. What he didn't see was the twisted satisfaction in her smirk when he turned away. A sick pleasure in knowing she had a man willing to spill blood just to prove his devotion. 2 weeks later, Ethan's life turned into a nightmare. Police officers stormed his workplace, handcuffed him, and read out charges he couldn't believe. Assault, harassment, stalking, and even attempted kidnapping, all filed by Lauren Price. "What the hell is going on?" he shouted as they dragged him out of the garage. His co-workers stared in shock. At the police station, Lauren sat there crying, telling officers that Ethan had become obsessed with her, that he had been violent and dangerous. She claimed he'd attacked 5 men in an alley because he thought they were talking to her. Ethan was speechless. "Lauren, what the hell are you doing? I fought for you. I was protecting you," he pleaded. She leaned close when no one was watching and whispered with ice in her voice, "You were never my future, Ethan. You were just a test, and now you're a problem I need gone. I met someone better, a man with money, connections, a life worth having. You're just a mistake I need erased." Ethan's world shattered. Everything, the fights, the love, the promises, it had all been a game. She had orchestrated everything. Even the fight in the alley had been her setup, just to see if he'd risk his life for her. False witnesses came forward, painting Ethan as a psycho. The men he fought testified that Ethan attacked them unprovoked. With Lauren's fabricated texts and fake evidence, the police believed every word. The media painted him as a deranged, obsessive mechanic who couldn't handle rejection. Love hadn't just betrayed Ethan. It had destroyed him. Months later, Ethan was out on bail, his name dragged through every local news channel. He'd lost his job, his friends avoided him, and his own parents questioned whether their son had snapped. One rainy night, he got a call from a stranger, a drunk man slurring on the other end. I was one of those guys. The fight, she paid us, man. Lauren paid us to mess with you. She wanted to see if you'd lose it for her. I'm sorry, bro. The truth hit harder than a freight train. Ethan realized his entire relationship had been a performance, his love nothing more than a sick experiment to feed Lauren's ego. She never loved him. She wanted control, power, and now a richer man had given her a better future. She didn't just discard Ethan, she annihilated him. He confronted her one last time, outside her new boyfriend's downtown penthouse. Lauren stepped out of a luxury car, designer handbag on her arm, and smirked when she saw him. "You ruined my life," Ethan said, his voice shaking. Lauren tilted her head, a wicked grin on her face. "No, Ethan, you ruined your own life when you made me your whole world. I just proved how far you'd go for love, and honestly, it was pathetic." That night, Ethan walked away from her for good, but not before swearing to himself he'd never let love make him a fool again. Years passed. The court eventually dismissed some charges, but Ethan's name was never fully cleared. He worked odd jobs, stayed out of the public eye, and rebuilt his life brick by brick. He never dated again. Not because he hated women, but because he learned a brutal truth. Love without respect isn't love. It's enslavement. Lauren eventually became notorious for her manipulative behavior, leaving a trail of broken men and ruined reputations. Karma caught up with her. Scandals, lawsuits, and an ugly public divorce from the wealthy man she left Ethan for. But by then, Ethan felt nothing but pity. Her life was hollow, built on cruelty and games. Ethan's scars became his teachers. He shared his story with young men, warning them of blind devotion. He taught that real love doesn't demand blood or pain as proof. Blind trust can destroy you faster than hate. If love feels like a test, you're already losing. Ethan once believed love was worth fighting for, even dying for. Now he knew the truth. Real love doesn't make you lose yourself. It helps you find yourself. Love's cruel illusion had broken him, but it also gave him a wisdom stronger than any heartbreak could ever destroy. Thanks for listening. Hit the like button if you really like this story, and don't forget to subscribe.